everyone, welcome to this DMU live stream. We're going to be talking all about our MA in Music, Technology and Innovation today. So we're very happy that you can join us. We've got our academic and some students in our studio who we'll be talking to. So if you have any questions for them, please do pop them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them for you towards the end. Yep, without further ado, let's introduce our academic and students. Hello, John. Hello, Stephen and Ed.
Hello. Hi.
Hi there. So I can see you're in the studio there. Is that right?
That's right. We are. We're in the 32-channel diffusion studio.
Oh, fantastic. So I'm sure we'll be hearing all about that. So if we, I'll introduce myself and then, yes, if we could all introduce each other as well, that would be great. So my name's May. I work in the marketing and recruitment team in the Faculty of Computing, Engineering and Media. And John is our academic.
Yes, I'm John Young. I'm Professor of Composition here and Program Leader for this MA degree.
Fantastic. We've got Stephen and Ed, if you could introduce yourselves as well.
Hi, I'm Stephen. So I started on this MA as an electronic musician and recording engineer. I'm Ed. I started on the MA and I'm doing ambient music, composition and production and performance.
Fantastic. So as I say, any viewers watching, if you've got any questions at all, please do pop them in the chat and we'll try and answer them for you towards the end. But now I'm going to hand over to John and Stephen and Ed, and I'm sure you'll tell us all about this music programme.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, welcome everybody. It's really nice to have this chance to talk about the work that we're doing, postgraduate work that we're doing in music here at De Montfort University. We're a well-established area in the university. We're well known for teaching and research in creative areas and in technical areas as well, and media arts areas. What we do here is we're a music degree, but we're focusing on technology and the application of technology within degrees. And actually, the two students who we have here to talk to you today actually represent different pathways into the Music, Technology and Innovation MA. Ed has come from a music degree background, a music technology degree background, and Stephen has come more from a technology, as he said, but more from a technology and audio and recording background. But we cater for students who come from these different kinds of backgrounds and indeed from traditional music backgrounds. And that's one of the strengths of the program, I think, is that students are able to focus on the kinds of work that they want to do and in fact to gain new skills in technology and the creative work that can be done within that kind of sphere. So composition of all kinds, software, hardware creation, audio engineering, production, these are all possible kinds of focuses that you can find in this degree. You might think of the degree as then being able to hone different facets of your skill set from composition and the creation of content, which is really, really important these days in media industries and in the music industry. Not just how to handle technology and make things happen and switch things on and off, but actually to create new stuff, new material that can find its way into the new kinds of productions that are happening in music. But as well to keep up to date with and develop new skills in technologies themselves, whether it's spatial audio, forms of programming, forms of interactive media, and so on. So if we could have the first slide, I'll just talk you through what is in the program. So you can see there that in the first term, a master's degree is, of course, a calendar year. I'm just going to put my glasses on to see that, the screen from where I am. In the first term, so that the MA degree is a calendar year, so 3 terms across the 12 months of the year. The core modules that we have to begin with are aesthetics and ideas in the sonic arts and research methods for creative projects. And these really set you up to understand what's going on in the field and to find ways of talking about music and talking about the cultural, the societal, the historical, the technological frame in which we make music. Research methods for creative projects. This is actually a really important one, because one of the features of a master's degree is that it should take you to the point at which you really understand what is originality in your field. And a way of thinking about that is from a research perspective. So here we're thinking about what's original, how to frame originality, how to devise new ways of thinking about your content, but also giving you the skills that could take you on to do a research degree. So if you want to go on and do a PhD degree or an MPhil, then this sets you up for thinking about music and creativity in a research context, from a research perspective. Then we have a choice of either spatial audio or sonic arts practices 1, where you will define a project either using lots of loudspeakers and spatialized audio. And the studio that we're in here is really central to that, because we can do up to 32 channels of audio in here. And we have other multi-channel audio facilities as well. Sonic Arts Practices is really a creative module where you will start to think about the kinds of work that you want to create. Then in the second term, there are 2 options, either to do a contextual practice of music and technology or contextual theory of music and technology. And both Ed and Stephen, who are here today with me, did contextual theory of music and technology, so they can tell you a little bit about that. Then you can further your practical work in Sonic Arts Practices 2 and Digital Arts Practices. And then in the third term, you undertake a 60-credit portfolio, which is 3 months of work, and you develop a portfolio there of about 25 to 30 minutes of content. It varies a little bit. People do all kinds of things here. In some cases, we've had students have actually created software that they create to make something. And so that software is part of the practical work they do, and they do slightly less actual composing content, but they've also made some software which they can either distribute to others, keep for themselves, or even market and sell. You could do a dissertation, 15,000 word dissertation, if that's what you want to do. Or you can also do a mixed shorter portfolio with a 7,500 word, a shorter dissertation. So if you really get into the writing and into the musicology or the analysis, you can keep that going in the third term. So all of this really is geared towards developing originality. The way we teach is through a mixture of lectures, seminars, individual tutorials that based around your particular student work. We have a large number of staff teaching the program, so there is a wide skill set amongst our staff, and that enables you to get the kind of focused tutorial support that you need to keep you going and keep you focused on developing your work. I think a really important thing that we do too is just talking about music and talking about each other's work. So bringing a critical eye and ear into the work that we do, and that includes our work too. I'm very happy to share the ideas that are behind my work, and as are my colleagues, and to have those open to discussion and criticism. But of course, it's really important that students discuss their work that they're listening to, things that they encounter, things that they're reading, and to be able to bring those into a general kind of forum for debate and discussion and criticism. Criticism doesn't, of course, mean saying that you don't like something. It means putting it into a context and understanding it better and understanding its cultural or its historical context and its meaning. Another really important thing about where we are located at the university, we're in the Leicester Media School, so we're connected to film studies. We're in the same school as the film studies, and there's an international film production course at master's level, and we've had students this year writing music for some of the film work that's being done on that course. So that's a really practical and interactive way to get to know people in another discipline, which can be a really useful thing when you leave university, to have buddies in other areas that you can continue to work with, can meet up with again as you progress. And we also have strong connections with the arts faculty, where there's dance, where there's drama, and other kinds of areas that you can work with. We also, in the Leicester Media School, are connected with gaming. So we've had students in the past do sound for games that have been designed, and really building up important skills, not only in music and sound design, but in collaboration and working with others, which for employment is really, really important, that you can deliver things on time, that you can understand the needs of others in other disciplines, and so on. So just a quick word about our facilities. You can see our the studio that we're in, but we have other facilities. On the left there on the screen is our main recording studio that's connected to all the coursework that we do. Next to that on the right is the DMU gallery, and we do a lot of performances in there. As master students, it's open to you to use. Below that is the wide angle sort of panoramic picture of the PACE Performance Arts Centre for Excellence Studio #1, which is also decked out with 38 channels of audio. So we can really take the work that we do in the studio that we're in now and take it into that space for audiences of up to 120 people. Nice big screen in there as well for audiovisual presentations and live presentations, which we're going to be doing tomorrow night as well. And Ed and Steve might talk to you about the work that they're doing. If we could have the next slide, and then I will finish. Okay, on the top left there is the studio that we're in right now, just a wider view of that. Underneath it is a general purpose workspace studio where you can use a sofa to read, to network, and so on. And there are some workstations there as well that students use. You can also do, if you're into soldering, taking things apart, putting them back together again, building instruments, which is part of the kinds of coursework that we do. You can also do that in there safely. And we often have presentations and discussions in that room as well. And to the right is the small 5.1 studio, which is usually for AV work, audiovisual work that people might be doing, but for also just available for any kind of compositional work. There are a number of other spaces that are available, an 18.2 surround sound studio that I haven't put in there, and a whole suite of studios in the Queen's building, another building that you'll find on campus that are available to you. AV loans, loads of microphones, cameras, audio interfaces, portable recorders, and so on, that you can borrow and take away for field work and project work. So I'll finish there. I hope that covers things reasonably well. And I will pass over to Stephen and Ed, who might like to talk about the experience that they've had, why they chose this course, and the kinds of work that they've been supported in doing.
Sure. I'll start, I guess. So interestingly, I didn't actually choose this course to begin with, and I changed onto it, which was one of the best decisions I think I could have made, really, because coming from a BSc background, I really wasn't expecting to really engage with the arts side of music as much, but I feel more rounded as a musician and a technician as well, due to the practical work that we've been doing this year. Yeah, so I came onto this course after studying music tech at Falmouth University, which was very open and quite freeing. And I sort of came onto this in no small part because of the pandemic last year and the lockdowns. And I just really wanted to like get that extra year of study and work back. So I came onto this course because I just saw it, and I really enjoyed how like free and open I'm allowed to be with what I want to do. I can choose what I want to study and how I want to work and where I'm working, which is just a really nice freeing thing for me personally, especially from like a very open like BA background.
How have you found the balance of the kind of theory work and the practical work?
I found it fine personally. There are essays, of course, but again, they're also open and free, so we're allowed to choose what we want to study and research, so we aren't pigeonholed into one specific area.
Can you say a bit about your particular interests, and then we'll come to...
Yeah, so I'm very interested in ambient music, of course, as I said at the start. I got into that in my undergrad somehow, but that sort of led into electronic music and as well tape music, working with magnetic tape, playing with it, splicing, looping, lots of different things. So one of my projects for this term was creating a tape feedback system for a performance, which I'm doing tomorrow night, which has been a lot of fun. Then there's also on the more theory side, I'm very interested in how musicians have used anonymity in their practice and ideas around sampling and so forth.
Okay, so that the interest in retro technology is interesting. I mean, that's perhaps something to emphasize, that we talk a lot about digital technologies and ways of spatializing audio and interaction with computers and so on, but also we can look back at technology and older technologies and see what they can do.
How they can be manipulated in working with the digital modern era.
Yeah, I think that's a really that shows the breadth that we have, that we can encompass that and support that kind of work. I mean, has it meant sort of poking around for bits of equipment that you can use and then adapting your work?
Yeah, bits like this term I've got various tape machines that are my own and I love playing with, that are all various degrees of broken and falling apart. But there's also, the university has their own machines that are much workable, actually really nice, and able to do a lot more with them. So like being able to use them as well has helped greatly. Just like the amount of equipment that we can get our hands on.
Very good. Good. Well, Stephen, now you, as you say, you come from the sort of techie, sciencey side, but in many ways it's been quite interesting to see how you've progressed from that, because you've really taken to the thinking and the theory side very well as well. Can you talk about some of the things that have inspired you?
Definitely the aesthetics module and the contextual theory module have been really great for sort of finding my own voice, as well as a context for my work, because I come from a mainstream music production background as well, and through those modules I've sort of come out into more experimental music, which has been great. I really enjoyed the reading. I've really taken to reading around these topics that we've been looking into, because I've just found a love for it, I suppose, really. with the help of the guidance from yourself and from Lee, Andy.
Would you say that you've found a voice through that process, or is that something that's always been what you've wanted to do, or has it been more of a sort of inspiration?
All of the above, really.
Okay.
I think, as I mentioned, with swapping onto the music course MA, it was because I think I knew I always wanted to do this. Yeah, and then I found my voice along the way, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that is something for aspiring master's students to keep in mind, is that the master's year is a sort of year where things can really fall into place. It can do lots of things. It can be a consolidation year where you really just sort of take what you've learned and what you're doing and just take it further. But it can also be a year that, and maybe it's particularly when musicians engaging with technology, coming from different perspectives, it's just where you can really just settle down and bring all those things together into in interesting ways. But Stephen, can you say a little bit about the work that you're going to play tomorrow night? About what that involves?
Yeah. So the piece I'm playing tomorrow started out as a 20-minute long field recording, which was comprised of a weekend of different sounds, and now it's been completely abstracted into a almost a noise piece, granular synthesized noise piece, which I don't think I would have even known what that meant in September. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it.
Very good. And you do some education work that's kind of very closely connected to the degree that you've done already. And has the MA been influential in any of that, the way you've addressed that? You might want to just tell people about what you do with that.
Yeah. So I'm a freelance musician and educator, and I work primarily with people younger than 15, and the children in primary school, so below 10. The work I've done on the MA has really helped working with the younger children, because, well, I suppose they're just more willing to have a go. But it's great to see them trying out all of this stuff that's been informed by all of this work on the MA and all of the reading that I've been doing as well. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Education has actually always been a really important part of what we do. And by education, I mean not just teaching the students who are in our courses, but thinking about how to take ideas that stem from music and technology as a means of educating younger people about music. So this has always been a really important part of what we do, and the impact that our work has tended to have in the wider community too, I think. So one of the things that an MA in music technology and innovation can do is also help establish teachers, I think, who might want to maybe haven't had the opportunity to work with technologies, who want to learn something about it, see how it works, see what they can do with it, and see what they can then pass on to pupils in schools or in community groups and so on. So that's a kind of important thread that we have.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much to John, Stephen and Ed for all that information, which I hope the viewers have found useful and interesting to hear all about. I just have a couple of questions, if that's okay, for you all. So I just wonder, you've talked a lot about the course and the content, and what sort of support to Stephen and Ed can students expect from both academics and DMU as a university, so not non-academic as well? What kind of support have you experienced?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, academic. Oh, my mind has gone completely blank. The academic help and assistance and academics here, like John and my supervisor for one of my projects this term, John Richards, have all been really helpful for me, like helping me explore new ways of thinking about things. With the essay writing this term, Lee Landy, who led that module, was really helpful in like driving me in like certain directions, coming up with different ideas to my own of where I could take the essay I was writing. The technicians as well are also really helpful. Petros in Clefin is brilliant, knows all the studios inside out, and also has access to a store cupboard of equipment, which I quite like. And there's also AV loans on campus where we can get out various microphones, cameras, whatever we might need at the time.
Yeah, I can speak from first-hand experience about the library team with their writing support and general academic skills. The welfare, I think, university like counselling services are great, and the GP as well. Just a little bit about life on campus. Those services are first class, really.
Brilliant.
Nearly around the clock support from the tutors as well.
Well, yeah, music departments are a bit like families, and there are formal sessions that we arrange with students, but also often it's just running into people in the facilities that you've seen, because we have places where people can just be relaxed and working quietly, or just having your lunch. This is just the way these kinds of places tend to work. That it's you can pick up the threads of conversations and be supportive in that way, I think.
And those sessions we had, the informal conversations as well, for artists, just to take each other in feedback.
Fantastic. Yeah, so between the support that you get and the facilities and the technicians, and all sort of conducive to that sort of creative environment. That's fantastic to hear. So what about in terms of things like, have you both done any sort of would it be dissertation, portfolio work, or anything that you can tell us about, any projects that you've worked on?
Yeah, so in the first term, me and Stephen did actually work together on a project using a Microsoft Kinect to take information of where a person's standing in a room to affect music in real time. So as they moved their arms up and down, it would bring certain parts of the track in and out. And then from there, I've also been using various programs to create audio reactive visuals, and I'm hoping to do that in the final project of taking various programs such as Pure Data or Touch Designer and trying to create something really cool to have on in the background while I'm performing, so it's not just me sat there and I don't have to have everyone staring at me all the time.
That sounds fantastic. So lots of opportunity for collaboration as well.
Yeah.
Working together. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell? Any top tips for, as you say, aspiring MA students that might be thinking about it or unsure? What would you say to them?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
From our perspective, I think the thing is, get in touch with us, of course, because what we can support is very broad here, and we can take students who are musically able, but perhaps for whatever reason haven't had the chance to develop into technology or studio work, and we can actually get you there, because good musicians will always do well. And similarly, students who have done more technological, more techie kind of work, media production work, that kind of thing, again, can engage with the musical side of things that we're doing. But I don't know if you want to add. to there?
Yeah, similar for me. Of just like talk to like the lecturers and academics, because John is really helpful. There's also Sophie Smith with the IOCT, who we do some modules with, the Institute for Creative Technology, or Institute of Cool Things. Really fun. She's a really positive, excited person just to see what you're doing, and people are always happy to talk to you about what you're doing and how they can help you in trying to achieve like a really cool finished product.
Yeah, I would follow up on what you said, John, about people from different backgrounds being able to be supported. I think the modules can all be applicable. Right? The titles might not seem it, but you can shape your pathway through the masters to suit your specialism.
And that's what we want. We actually want that. We don't want to turn out people who are all exactly the same.
Yes.
At this level. And it's a creative discipline. People should come out with an individual perspective.
Absolutely. So finding your own sort of unique voice. Yeah. Brilliant. That's great. Well, I think we're going to have to wrap up the live stream now, I'm afraid. But thank you so much to John, Stephen and Ed for all of your time and the insight in all about the course. So I hope that's helped any viewers who wanted to find out a bit more. But do contact us, and you can send us an email to chemmarketing@dmu.ac.uk if you want to find out any more, or chem@dmu.ac.uk as well. So yeah, do contact us if you have any further questions, or if it's admissions related, do email our admissions team to the email address there. But thank you very much for watching today, and we hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Well,